Unfortunately, I am a vendor. Boo, I am on that side, on the dark side now, but first and foremost, I was a recruiter. Started off in 2005, recruiting financial advisors and mortgage brokers. And then over the years, I've been a sourcer, managing sourcing teams, latterly a marketing director for a sizable Scottish agency before coming over to Candidate.ID. I run the delivery team at Candidate.ID. I run all the projects end to end. And I've got a real mix of experience across industries. I started off in financial services before moving more into marketing, technology, and that type of thing. Plus, the clients we now work with in Candidate.ID work across a wide spectrum of industries, but we do have a particular focus on helping them to nurture and build pipelines for technology candidates. So hopefully I can give you some key takeaways, some things that you can implement straight away, some things that you can think about a bit more strategically, but always, please, any questions at the end, please ask, but I'm about for the rest of the day as well. So first and foremost, you guys all are day-to-day working and recruiting technology specialists or managing people who do that. STEM, recruiting for STEM broadly is never going to, the problem is not going to go away. The problem over the past 5 years has just become bigger and bigger. 91% of STEM graduates are in employment within 1 year of graduation. Okay, it's the third highest tier of employability. I think it's only medicine and engineering in general that's more employable. And they've also got the highest average salary as well, between £35,000 and £45,000. So we're working in a market, not only are graduates being snapped up straight away, but they're also being rewarded heavily for their efforts. I was talking to someone in the room earlier on from a smaller startup who really highlighted that problem. Even 3 to 5 years after graduation, you're getting some of the big technology firms, your Microsofts, your Googles, etc. of the world, who are paying £100,000, £120,000 for people, where their budget is currently sitting at £60,000. So that really highlights how competitive it is an industry. The difference between the salaries being offered at that stage is unbelievable. But we're also in a real changing market. So we've got companies like Uber, who, Uber aren't a transportation company. Uber are a technology company. But we've also got the more traditional industries now, like banking, who are moving away from calling themselves banking. They're calling themselves technology industries. So Nationwide Building Society, for example, one of our clients, have done a very, very good job of turning themselves into a technology business, or showing that they're a technology business first, as opposed to a bank. JP Morgan do the exact same thing. They've got a big, massive technology centre in Glasgow. So, not only are technology companies competing with technology companies, they're competing with businesses that want to call themselves technology companies. So you're in the demand is just through the roof, and it's just going to continue to happen. We've obviously got the fourth industrial revolution is in full flow. That, combined with the B word, means that, is this problem going to go away? No, it's just going to get harder and harder and harder. From stemorg.org.uk, this is what people estimate as the current impact. And this is the current impact before we even move into Brexit in 2019. It costs businesses on average £1.5 billion, or across the industry, £1.5 billion per year. The shortfall right now is 173,000 people. And on average, each company has got 10 technology jobs unfilled. So you've got the market demands. Now, what we've also got is a situation where technologists are incredibly sceptical of recruiters. Now, this is just some of the feedback that you can find on sites like Stack Overflow, on sites like Twitter, about how recruiters are engaging with technologists. Now, a lot of this, unfortunately, has been driven by the behaviours of the agency market. However, we can't stand back as either in-house recruiters or suppliers to in-house recruiters and go, oh no, that's just all the agency's fault, because it does happen within in-house as well. What we're not doing is giving a good enough experience to technologists. So we're doing all the hard work to try and find and engage with technologists, and then we're letting ourselves down by giving them a really, really poor experience once we are engaging with them. You know, you can read that yourself. You know, things like, you know, I'm a PhD scientist and I've just received an email for a tech support role. They believe that recruiters are not an important and integral part of the progress. Low-level recruiters are using shotgun approach. There's a typo there, I just noticed that. You know, we have to, once we've done the hard work of finding people, we have to get better and better at giving candidates a quality level of service. Some brilliant examples this morning in terms of improving the interview process. But I'm going to focus more at the front of the process. You know, how, once we've found someone, how can we give them enough information and the right kind of information that allows the candidate to make a decision about whether you are an employer of choice or not. Does anyone follow either of these Twitter accounts? If you ever really want to know what your tech candidates think of recruiters, go in and check out these accounts. Okay, they're both run by technologists, not recruiters. Junior Tech Recruiter and I Am Recruiter, okay? If you're ever in any doubt whatsoever what they think, obviously, seriously take a look. But they're really, really good for actually learning, okay, from other people's mistakes, about changing the approaches that you're doing when you're sourcing and engaging people. You know, the obvious joke is JavaScript is Java. Guys, it still happens today. Do you know how long do we need to be spending, you know, going over these kind of basic mistakes? So take a look. They'll give you a giggle if nothing more. And what that leads, this all, you know, we've got that perfect storm of a market where there's such high demand, a market where we've got candidates who don't respect recruiters and what they do as a profession. That leads to the sceptical candidate. It leads to, you know, a technologist, she or he, who naturally doesn't actually trust the process, doesn't trust the information that's being sent, doesn't believe that they're getting fair representation of the opportunities that are available to them. So through the work that we do at Candidate.ID, we'll talk a little bit more about that, and what we want to do is try and give you just some advice in terms of the type of strategies and the type of content that actually works. Now, I'm going to focus on, this is a bit of work I did for Stack Overflow a few years ago before Candidate.ID in terms of helping them and their clients to think about personas. Who uses candidate personas when they're thinking about approach sourcing and engagement with candidates? Does anyone in the room do that at the moment? Okay. This is a really basic one, okay, that I did. And this is thinking about, for every requisition that you have, what type of person do you want to attract? Now, there are more complicated ones out there. In particular, you want to look at consumer marketing personas because they give you tons and tons of information. I'm going to talk more about the career goals and career challenges side, the type of content that could potentially influence candidates on that side. But we do have lots of other things there that you need to consider. If you don't do this at the beginning of any new requisition, do you really, really know the type of candidate that you want? This is also the type of thing where you can get your stakeholders involved, you can get your hiring managers involved in it at a very early stage and get them involved in. And if you don't have a clear idea what the persona is, I honestly don't know how you can source, attract and engage with potential candidates if you don't understand this. So how do we understand what technologists are engaging with? Okay, this is a brilliant slide that my colleague's got at the back of the room. And what this does, on average, I think it's a Bersin report a couple of years ago, what Bersin said about this was about, on average, candidates are making about 16 visits to your career assets before they actually make a decision about whether they want to apply for a job or whether you're in the we're bouncing around loads and loads of different online and offline assets. So whether that's your website, whether it's your job pages, whether that's your career events that are going to lots and lots of different places that are actually going. Some of this stuff is really good, some of it's absolutely shit. And that's what you need to understand, is that you can have the best blog and the best piece of content in the world. But then if someone's put up a really, really poor Facebook post about your organisation, there's a chance that the candidate is going to see that, and it is literally one Facebook post could be enough to put a candidate on online for your vacancy. And that's before we even get to your bottom funnel conversion, your ZMOP. So at Candidate.ID, I'm not going to talk about product too much, but we actually work with employers when we're running engagement campaigns by email and text messages, and we give our clients complete visibility over that journey, over exactly what candidates do, and we also score candidates based on their engagement. So a candidate who is highly engaged with this content, who has visited all the right type of assets, will show as a high-scoring candidate. Candidates who haven't visited your website, who haven't opened emails, who haven't looked at your jobs, they'll appear way down the funnel. So that's how we actually work with these clients, and this is how we've learned these lessons. How to do this? Okay, content can be a bit of a bottleneck. It can be the most time-consuming part of doing this. Okay, but if you've not done this already, I suggest you look at your candidate content map, you look at what you've got already. It doesn't necessarily involve creating lots of content from scratch. There will be lots and lots of content that you have already that you can repurpose, okay, and you can reuse again. But my suggestion is that you go on an audit, you take a look at what you've got already, you make sure that everything that's out there at the moment is content that you want in the public domain. Even a client of mine last week, a client that we've had for more than a year, I found something offensive on their website. They've got an RSS feed of news feeds coming into their website automatically. It's on the legal news section of their website, and it automatically picked up quite a disturbing case from the news, something pretty offensive that if I was a candidate going onto their website, even though I know it's not them, I'm going to associate the brand with that, and it could turn me off. So it's really important to go on that audit. So who are we learning from? As I said, most of our clients we do work with to recruit technology specialists, and some of the learnings I'm going to talk about are from these businesses that we work with. So it could be scale-ups like Onfido and SiteMinder and Klarna, but it could be really well-known businesses like Search Consultancy, Capita and Specsavers. Okay, but what's important to note here is that everyone that we work with who has done this, either with us or with their marketing departments, they've went through a process of auditing their content and really trying to get a real understanding of what will work and what won't work. They've already done that and went through that process. So through this, what are technologists? What have they been primarily interested in? Okay, the first thing is problem-solving content. I'll talk about product in a little second, okay, but technologists really want to understand what problem are you trying to solve for your customer, particularly in a business-to-business context. How many business-to-business brands have we got in the room? How many people work for B2B? Okay, so about half of the room. With all due respect to you, the vast majority of your candidates will not know who your organisation are. They just will never have came across you before. So you have to make it really clear to the candidate exactly who your customer base is and what type of problem that you're actually trying to solve for them. People want to know, or people want to work for businesses that are solving a problem that makes sense to them. That's the number one thing that we find that they really like. They're really interested in finding out more about the company, the organisation, even down to its mission, its vision and its values. Don't underestimate that type of thing. Okay. I'm not dissing employer brand or even employer value proposition here, but actually that doesn't mean anything until the candidate really understands what your business is and what you actually do. In fact, I was talking to Jeremy Russin just at lunchtime there, and I won't name the organisation, but this organisation at the time when Jeremy was doing some work for them claimed to be, they were across their employer brand, were claiming to be the biggest and the best at what they actually do at that time, and they probably are. Do candidates give a shit? No, they don't. Right? They just simply don't. But if actually Jeremy's organisation at the time, and Jeremy led them through that path eventually, if they had told candidates from the outset, by the way, we're working on some really cool stuff that solves a problem, then that is far, far more interesting. It works really, really well. An interesting one, actually, they want to candidates want to actually work in an environment where they learn from failure. And there was a quote on Twitter, and I've actually forgotten to include the link in this deck. If technologists don't work in an environment where failure is accepted, then they don't live the fallout of the grandiosity. So what that means is if a candidate works in an environment where they're not allowed to fail, they're going to leave very, very quickly. How do you communicate that out to your potential candidates? Well, what you do is you get your senior engineering leaders in to actually talk.
This year, what have been the biggest technical...
So I'm just going to pause that a second. To actually talk about what the environment is like, and it can be really informal. This was our client Klarna recorded this a couple of weeks ago. This is one of their senior engineering leaders asked really simple questions. This is just about a minute and a half long, so I'll just let it play.
This year, what have been the biggest technical challenges for those working in Java and JavaScript engineering roles, and what was the outcome solution?
Well, Klarna's moving incredibly fast. Expanding new markets, going beyond online stores by offering plastic card to buy anywhere. Engineering was challenged to keep up with business and product speed. Just think of numbers: 100,000 stores integrated, 60 million end customers, about 1 million purchases a day. All this in 14 markets. It's been quite a challenge. To stay even, we have to move fast. Proud to say we are able to move twice as fast to design and build architecture, platforms and features with tomorrow's needs in mind.
So that's a really short and sweet video, okay? What I love about it is it's really personal, it's really informal, but it actually gives a little bit of information and a little bit of insight into the engineering team and their perspective on the commercial aspect of it, okay? And this is the type of thing that starts to get candidates excited about the product, okay? Guys, we all get excited about our own brand, okay? But candidates don't. They just don't really care. My favorite brands in the world are people like Spotify, okay? Do I really care about the Spotify brand? No, I don't. Do you know what I really like? I like the product. I like the fact that I can listen to music on demand, that I can find, you know, suggestions for songs based on my behaviour and what I listen to. That my girlfriend and I can send songs backwards and forwards on playlists, although her music taste is absolutely awful. So maybe I should restrict that feature. Okay. So you might live in your employer bubble where you might go, my brand is amazing, it's absolutely fantastic. Candidates don't really care, okay? What they're interested in, going back a little bit again, just the product, is what you do and what you work on. So Onfido are brilliant at doing this. They've got a Medium blog, an engineering blog on Medium. Does anyone use Medium blogs at all in their business? Do they use that? Brilliant. So the guys at Expedia, absolutely. You know, getting the knowledge out there, talking about what they're working on a day-to-day basis is really good and a brilliant way of doing it. My only criticism of Onfido in this is they don't keep it up to date as much as they should. Okay, so what is important is if you get your engineering team involved in an initiative like this, where they're talking to the market, is that it is kept up. It doesn't have to be every day, it doesn't have to be every week. You know, 1 or 2 items every couple of weeks will work really well. And this Medium blog, we sent this out in an Onfido campaign and it was the highest performing piece of content because it actually talks about something really cool. Onfido, if you don't know, does anyone use Monzo or does anyone work for Monzo in the room? So see when you sign up for Monzo and it scans your driving license to check your identity, that's what Onfido do. They that little bit, tiny little piece of technology in the process, but it's really cool and it works really well. Food are absolutely, this was a great example, and they're not one of our clients, but I thought it was a really good example of how at an early stage they make sure that product is embedded in everyone they hire. They're a food delivery platform, and for everyone that comes on board, they give them £520 a year to actually spend on the platform. So not only are the technologists building the platform, they're using it as a customer. They're able to, when they want, actually do it. And the fact is, they talk about that early doors. I know that when we've all worked in the past, we get staff discounts and all that kind of stuff, but including it in this way, for me, just embeds really, in the employer's brand, it really makes it clear that product's really, really important to them. You get to use the product on a day-to-day basis. I hope they've got some healthy food options on that menu, because otherwise you could turn into me if you work for Food It. But I think it's a brilliant way of just stressing the importance of product. So what else are they interested in? Personal priorities, okay? Work-life balance, a high-quality code base to some people, flexible working arrangements, diversity of team, okay? Techies are human, techies are selfish, okay? If you tell people about the team environment, tell them about the team that they're actually going to be working with, okay? We've done that for Nationwide. We've actually brought in the campaign we've done for them. It's actually the CTO who's the campaign hero. He's the person whose name is on all the emails that are going out. So straight away, it's not, no offense to the recruiters, you know, it's not the recruiter's name, it's actually the people who they're going to be working with, who they're being introduced to. And don't shy away from comp and bends. When I was writing this deck last week, I was trying to find a really good example of a technology business who's really transparent about their compensation and their benefits, who advertises salaries. And I still struggle to find any really good examples of people who in every single job ad that they're putting out is incredibly clear and transparent. One of the earlier presentations from the guys at Hired and Expedia said the exact same thing. Techies want to know what they're going to get paid. They don't want to waste their time by entering a process that isn't going to give them the financial gain and the other benefits that they're actually looking for. My favourite example of this, and it is one extreme to another, is Buffer. Who's looked at the salary survey that Buffer publishes? It lists every single employee, and this is complete. Buffer have been really transparent about this. Joel's a guy from York who started Buffer. Every single person, when they start in the company, gets listed on this tracker. Go onto the Buffer website. It's actually buffer.com/salary. You can do it right now. You can download this spreadsheet. So if you were thinking about applying for a job in Buffer, okay, you know, the salary might not be listed against the job, but they do give you a link to the salary calculator, and it tells you exactly how they work out their salaries, what people who are doing the same job actually get paid, and what you can expect to get paid down to the detail. They've got a cost of living multiplier and that type of thing. So it's completely transparent and completely open, okay? We see a massive, significant improvement in engagement rates when we talk about salary in the content that we're pushing out on behalf of our clients. Don't shy away from it, and don't be embarrassed, okay? On average, about 50% of employers, the stat that I found is say about 50% of employers don't publish their salaries. I actually think it's more than that, because I struggled to find any real good example. Okay. And then last but not least, just talking about channels, we are an email and text message platform, so this is how, you know, we work, and we do find, okay, that using these techniques, we can get to, on average, between 50 and 70% of the database. Normally, our open rates are between 43 and 61%, so we do get candidates reading their emails, okay? The vast majority of your candidates will engage with a well-written and well-constructed email. So think about your subject line, think about what you're actually putting in there that's going to grab their attention, okay? Think about then what is going to keep the person returning to the emails when you're sending them. But the important thing is as well is use another method for follow-up. If someone isn't responding to emails, don't keep emailing them, okay? You're just going to piss them off. You're going to end up on a spam list. Your emails aren't going to get through. So think about text message, think about WhatsApp, think about Facebook Messenger, think about Twitter DMs, think about LinkedIn, probably at the bottom of the pile. No offense to any LinkedIn employees in the room. But you know, email and text message are going to get you out to your market as long as they're done properly. Now, one takeaway on email that's really, really important is that even Google's own emails are being spammed by Google right now, okay? So, you know, if Google are having problems defeating their own mail filters, then you need to think heavily about the deliverability of your emails. What is going to get, A, that email into your candidate's inbox, and B, what's going to get the candidate opening that email time and time again. Great. Some further reading there, just some 3 things. Joel Spolsky's guide to standing out and attracting top talent. So Joel is the founder of Atlassian and Stack Overflow. That PDF there is absolutely fantastic. If you really want to find out what tech candidates think about recruiters, you can find it on those Twitter handles, but you can also find it on Reddit. Take a look at that. And then some of the stats that I got about STEM employment there on the ONS labour statistics on graduate site.